we have finished with LJ chart. Next, moving on to the Kusum chart, also called as cumulative sum chart or cumulative sum method. Kusum's chart are used by only a small percentage of clinical laboratories. These charts are used to detect systematic errors. When an analytical method performs acceptably, the Kusum value will fluctuate around 0 and rise slowly over a time. The magnitude of fluctuation is small. When a systematic error, that is all values or all low values or all high values is present, Kusum value will steadily increase. At certain state, the error will be too large to be accepted and the method will be considered as out of control. This is about Kusum chart. In laboratories, routinely we use. Next, moving on to the phase of internal quality control. So there are two phases, preventive phase and retrospective phase. Preventive phase. It includes preventive precautions which can be taken at various stages of specimen analysis. The stages in which preventive precautions should be taken are sample collection, separation of serum within 30 minutes of collection, specimen analysis, obtaining results and calculation of the test values. These are preventive phase corrections. Retrospective phase, you have two types under that, OCV and RCV. OCV means optimum condition variance, RCV is routine condition variance. OCV is defined as the test results obtained under optimum condition, that is by using freshly prepared reagents and using standardized glasswares. RCV is defined as test results obtained by using routine requirements, that is by using routinely stored reagents and glasswares. Next, moving on to the measures to maintain this internal quality control. There are three measures which can be taken, that is documentation. First one will say documentation of analytical protocols. That means that is necessary to perform analytical procedures stepwise. Consistency is needed to obtain reliable results, especially when different technical staffs perform the same procedures. It can be maintained by preparing SOPs, that is standard operating procedures, or written protocols or procedure manuals. The SOPs or procedure manuals should be reviewed, that is checked or changed regularly and revised whenever changes are made. That is documentation. Next one is inventory control of materials. When the materials used in the test are received, their quality should be monitored. The material should be tested prior to their routine use. The reagents and materials should be identified and labeled properly. Proper identification includes the name, lot number, date of receiving, expiry date and recommended storage conditions. Whenever the stock reaches a certain predetermined level, the order of the same should be initiated so that there is availability of material at any given point of time. Next, moving on to the monitoring changes of methods. A record or log all the changes and problem occurring with the method should be maintained. It should include date, time, analysts and the changes in the lots of reagents, materials and calibrators. Record maintenance of all instruments along with the work performed by service personnel outside the laboratory. The problem occurred along with the action employed to resolve them should be indicated. This is measures to maintain internal quality control. Internal quality control and external quality control program complement each other. That is, internal quality control monitors the daily precision and accuracy of methodologies, personnel and instruments, whereas external quality controls maintain long-term accuracy. That is, increased confidence in accuracy of laboratory testing results. Now we'll see what is external quality control. We have finished with internal quality control completely. Now external quality control. It is also called as proficiency testing or PT. It evaluates laboratory testing results by comparing them to those of similar laboratories. Specially prepared specimens are obtained by multiple laboratories participating in proficiency testing program. External quality control scheme consists of several rounds per year. That is, in each round, several participants receive test items which are also called samples. The organizer is also called as provider. So the organizer ensures that the test items are sufficiently similar and homogeneous. Often the test item properties and analyte concentrations are known to the organizer but not disclosed to the participants before the final reports. If I have to give an example for this, we will consider our laboratory, how the external quality control is done. For example, we go for external quality control from CMC Vellore. We apply there, they send a test kit for us. The kit contains any particular test of any department might be. A particular test will be there. Reagents required for that particular test will be provided, and this is measured. Sample is also provided by the lab, by the CMC Vellore lab itself. So that sample is processed here and the report is sent back to Vellore. Now they will decide whether our test reports were proper or not. Only then they will read out the actual final report. This is external quality control. So the participants' results are then compared to check if any participant has a bias towards for example, higher values are seen. At the end of each round, external quality control organizer sends out reports or certificates to the participating laboratories. This is external quality control program method. Benefits of external quality control program: to enhance patient care and safety through improved laboratory practice, to characterize test bias and imprecision across multiple methods, to correlate specific method variables with bias and imprecision, to identify interfering substances and quantify their effects across multiple methods, to provide clinical laboratories with reliable information for replacing unsatisfactory methodologies, to identify clinical laboratories that are at risk for poor performance, to satisfy accreditation and regulatory requirements. These are the benefits of external quality control programs. Next, laboratories can take proactive steps. That is, proactive steps means what measures are taken for after performing the quality control. Narrowing their internal quality control ranges, increasing the frequency of calibration, performing instrument function verification, examining external quality control results closely for trends and bias. These measures can be taken. Lastly, proficiency surveillance. Proficiency surveillance means critical supervision of all aspects of laboratory tests. It includes collection, transportation, processing of samples, reporting of result, maintenance, etc. Whereas internal quality control and external quality control assessments relates only to actual analysis. With this we finish with the quality control chapter.